Well, hey there. Good morning, fellas. Welcome on into a new week of Winning Bets. Appreciate you guys kicking off a new week with me here and kicking off a new morning with me here on Winning Bets. We're going to talk our sports and talk our sports betting as well. Hope you guys are coming off a fantastic weekend. Let me know down in the comment section what you were up to this weekend. We had a jam-packed weekend ourselves. Science Museum on Saturday, friends over Saturday night, and then Sunday we had a birthday party to go to out in Skokie. So just a jam-packed, fun weekend. And I hope yours was the same way. Let's make sure we, of course, recap last week, see if we get to ring that cash register or not. And then we'll just jump on into the action today, a loaded MLB slate to go ahead and preview. Also want to know what your thoughts are on this week's Champions League games as the semifinals and that competition resumes. Let me know what you've got. And Dortmund versus PSG, and also Bayern versus Real Madrid. Let me know what your best bet is in both of those games, as we're, of course, in the first leg of the semifinals of the Champions League. All right, let's go ahead and go right to the recap and see how last week unfolded. Are we going to go ahead and ring that cash register? Yes, we are going to go ahead and ring that cash register. 24 and 26 plus 0.46 units. Love to see that right there. Now that is profit in 9 of our last 10 weeks. That's right, 9 of our last 10 weeks we've put money in our profit. Still clawing back on the year though, because unfortunately that 11th week ago was an absolutely disaster and an ugly week. So working our way slowly but surely, and sure enough, one of these weeks will be positive on the year. Hey, if you don't like sweating Nerfies, if you don't like sweating full game money lines, or if you don't like sweating pitcher props, maybe arbitrage bets is the thing for you. That's where you put money on both sides of a wager and you don't give a shit about the outcome because you've been guaranteed yourself profit. Well, that over $550 this year. That's right, $550 of absolute sweat-free cash going in your pocket. You love to see that right there. Let's talk about those good wins from last week. How about the Athletics on the F5 run line? That's when they were taking on the Yankees there in the Bronx. And boy, it was really that series against left-handed pitching in which you really wanted to back the Athletics. And of course, that's what we did on Monday. JP Sears and Carlos Rodon were on the bump. 0-0 game, but we got half a run at plus money. So you love to see that right there, plus 120 cash. Cardinals on the money line against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That was also a good Monday cash for us as they knock off the Diamondbacks. And then what about the Dodgers on Friday? Minus 114 series opening match there against the Blue Jays. They go ahead and knock them off. We did take another stab on Sunday. We had to have been getting plus money because it was, to prevent to sweep, and kind of tough to sweep teams. But at plus money, with all the advantage you got, had to go ahead and take a stab. They fell short on Sunday, but they came through for us at minus 114 on Friday. What about the Phillies? And that was one of the greater spots of all of last week, right? Is the Phillies. They're just in a really good place right now. They're doing two things right. They're being productive when they do hit the ball, but then they're also avoiding the strikeouts because they are hitting the ball, and they have a very low strikeout prop. Well, against those Cincinnati Reds, we did Andrew Abbott for plus money, and that was a good cash. On Tuesday, we did Nick Lodolo at minus 105, and that was a good cash. Wednesday, we did Nick Martinez at plus money, and that was a good cash. And we kept the good times rolling up against the Padres. Joe Musgrove on Friday, plus 120. He came through and got a cash. We'll skip Saturday for a second, but then Sunday we did Michael King at minus 140. So 5-0 last week of fading the pitcher going up against the Phillies. And you can kind of even put an asterisk and call it 6-0 because Dylan Cease under 7.5 Ks got a unit of my cash. It got a unit of my cash because it was an arbitrage play. So that, of course, cashed as well. So 5-0, 6-0, either way, one hell of an angle just fading the pitcher going up against the Phillies. We'll see if we look to continue that trend going on into the new week. How about Thursday? 5-1. That's right, 5-1. How about 4 plus money cashes to go along with those 5 cashes? Just a great day there on Thursday. Sunday was even better, right? We needed to pick me up because, to be quite honest, we had a bad day on Saturday, actually going 2-6. Well, we completely reversed that, going 6-2 on Sunday, salvaging the weekend, salvaging the week. We had ourselves a big Sunday. And how about the Luton play? How about threading the needle? Matt, of course, liked Wolves on the money line. I, of course, went right back to Matt's jewel of a play of both teams to score at Luton plus 1.5. And Matt said, hey, let's just end the show with a 2-1 Wolves win. 2-1 Wolves win. So we both give you guys a winner in that one. I don't know who Luton plays this week, but you know that play is going to be an option to go ahead and play. Just doing what they do, conceding, scoring, and keeping games close. You love to see the Luton play come through an absolute cash cow. Let's talk about those losses from last week, because we had some kick in the dick losses from last week. How about Sox and Twins, Nerfy? How about bottom of the first, 2 outs, 1 out away, 3 strikes away from a cash, and you get 3 consecutive hits there from the Twins with 2 outs to spoil what was looking like a good Nerfy. Blue Jays, errors, they cost us wins. In fact, we went 0-3 in that entire series, but really we're done in the first 2 days by errors. Blue Jays, F5 money line, 2-0 going on to the bottom of the 5th, so you love that, especially after picking up an insurance run there at the top of the 5th inning, and then they give it all back there in the bottom of half. An error with 2 outs spoils it, and then the Royals are able to tack on a run, tack on a tying run, and eventually ruin the tie option by getting that 3rd run. Not to be undone, come back yesterday in the Nerfy in that game, another one where the Nerfy cost us, or an error cost us the Nerfy in that one. So Blue Jays, what are you doing? Playing sloppy ass defense, can't hold it together, costing us 2 cashes. That one really hurt right there. Patrick Corbin facing those Dodgers for 5 days later. Boy, he really had himself an outing. He ruined a parlay for us. Second leg came through nice and easy. Patrick Corbin, you know, you always talk about there's like those couple starts every year that like, you know, maybe like save your job or get you a contract extension. Unfortunately for us, he had himself one of those outings against the Dodgers this past week. Rays on the money line. What are the White Sox going to lose like every game except for when I go ahead and fade them? I can't fade the White Sox. They pick up a win on Friday against the Rays. Tough one right there. And actually sweep the Rays. I didn't have that on my bingo card, I'll tell you that. The Rays getting swept with the advantages they had in bullpen and hitting, and they get swept by the White Sox. Tough one right there. And then Cincinnati Rangers, just when you thought the bad beats were over for the week, Saturday we took under 9, 8-0 going on into the bottom of the 9th inning. That 8-0 is actually terrifying. It was 7-1. You're like, okay, cool. I think we're going to get home with this under. But the fact that the Rangers hadn't scored, you just went into that bottom of the 9th inning feeling a little bit uneasy. And sure enough, they get 4 runs, 4 meaningless runs in the bottom of the 9th to make it an 8-4 game and ruin our under 9. Really disgusting right there. So all in all, though, good week, and one in which we're able to ring the cash register, claw back. I thought we had some fantastic spots. Obviously, the Phillies was no better of a spot than that one, but good Thursday, good Sunday. Let's see if we can't have ourselves a good Monday. Hopefully, the betting gods were good to you guys as well last week. Just for, because we ran out of, characters on this, and just for clarity, if you want to know what the MLB record is, it's, of course, on the end of every daily tweet. Well, there it is right there on the bottom of that on Sunday's tweet that went out. 62-52 and plus 4.36 units. Love to see that right there. All right, let's head on to that comment section. See how the weekend treated you guys. Maybe see how many profits you guys got. And don't forget, let me know what your best bet is for these Champions League semifinal games. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about these semifinal legs. Corey, treated to a nice big win on Sunday in Milwaukee. Boy, a game. Yankees get out to that win, and Brewers tied it up there, and then the Yankees' big bats came through and gave you a nice sweat-free, enjoyable win. It's always good when you can, obviously travel and see your favorite team. So I was glad to see they jumped out to that win there. Hope you had a nice time, Corey. Looked like a beautiful seats. Looked like a beautiful time. Love to see it, my man. Morning, Tim. Good morning. Your Marlins strategy is paying off. Yeah, Corey's on this fade the Marlins hardcore with the run line at plus money. Almost plus 2. What's the odds today of those Nationals plus 1.5? I, of course, like it. You know what one of my plays is. I'm backing the Nationals through the first 5 innings. You know, typical if you like them early, you're generally going to like them full game. Let's see what... Oh, you're not fading them today. Or no, you'd have to do the revert. You have to do an alternate run line if you're going to fade them today, which is fine. That comes in at plus 187. Yeah, again, I like them through the first 5, so hope those advantages can carry over. Keep cashing it, man. It's a hell of a play. Morning, Ryan. Morning, my man. Let's get it. I like the mentality. Morning, Taylor. You like Yankees versus Baltimore today. Well, how do you like it? That's it. Oh, you like Yankees versus Baltimore today. Gotcha. And then he's got to run because he's off to work. Have yourself a good work day, my man. We'll break down that game, actually. You'll see that game on the rundown, but where will you see that game on the rundown? Will it make around the bases? Will it make long shots? You know, it's funny because in terms of making long shots, Yankees now minus 102. We tweeted it out at plus 122. We'll see what inning it makes, but yeah, I like the Yankees today too, taking on those Baltimore Orioles. Taylor, we'll preview that game. We'll preview, in fact, every single game on the payoff pitch. No Champions League best bets. All right, I'm curious to see what you guys thought about Champions League, but maybe you'll let me know here in a little bit. All right, let's do a little MLB preview, boys. Let's do it. All right, boys, welcome on into the payoff pitch. Like to preview every single baseball game every single day, and that's what we do here on the payoff pitch. We've got a menu there on the left-hand side. If you've come for pitching props or hitting props or nerfy of the day or what's just your best bet of the day in the MLB, we'll go ahead and run through all those and more on the payoff pitch. And stay till the end. We got rapid fire. We'll talk about every single game from a money line, run line, and over-under perspective. Here in the first inning, call it quick hits. I like to give you my opening thoughts. I just really want to keep the good times rolling. We did our little recap there where we said we basically won a half a unit. We actually got tripped up on soccer on Saturday going 1-3. So actually a good week in the MLB, really highlighted by, again, a 6-2 Sunday, a 5-1 Thursday. It was soccer that kind of pulled us down. But overall in baseball, just another good week, and we like to keep the good times rolling. So with that being said, let's just jump on into it around the bases. Let's take a couple of those games and break them down. Corey, he likes to fade the Marlins these days. I hear you, my man. Let's go ahead and do that in this Nationals versus Marlins game. I really want the Nationals through the first 5 innings, though, and I'm going to go ahead and give myself the push option because it's going to be a money line bet, and we'll do so at plus 120. Nationals coming into this game, they're facing Trevor Rogers. Well, versus left-handers, they hit 278. They slug 514 with an OPS of 883 and a weighted runs created of 145. Just absolutely destroying left-handed pitching. Obviously, Trevor Rogers, a division foe. They know Trevor Rogers quite well. Their K percentage as well is also really good. That's just a story with this Nationals team. They may not always have the hitting stats, but they'll always bring a great K percentage, and that right now is 16.7%. So just phenomenal numbers right now versus left-handers. Meanwhile, the Marlins versus right-handers, worse than the Nationals, but that's because the Nationals are doing really good. They're hitting 231, not a lot of power at 329, and an OPS of 608. Weighted runs created well below league average of 100 at 71. Actually, the only thing they're doing well at the plate is not striking out at 21.5%. Jake Irvin taking on Trevor Rogers. Both of them are doing really good. Irvin was doing good until he got tripped up by the Dodgers, but no fault of his. He was seeing a repeat opponent 5 days later, so understandable. His first time through those Dodgers was really a good time. Rogers actually doing pretty decent in his own right, but Irvin's got some better numbers. He's got the better opponent's batting average. He's got the better whip, so slight lean and advantages do go to Jake Irvin. Nationals, through the first 5 innings, they scored 2.56 runs. Marlins come in at 2.34. You're really leaning on, though, your hitting advantage in this game, and the Nationals come in are really hot versus left-handers. So I'll take the Nationals. You give me the tie option, and you're giving me this at plus 120. Don't really understand it. You could probably, what's it plus a run? Or sorry, not plus a run. What's plus half a run? Because even that's got to be a pretty good bet. Let's see, it's minus 125, and you could probably shop around and even find a little bit of a better deal. So I'm just going to go straight up F5 money line. I think the hitting advantages will shine. I don't think we'll need that half a run, so I'm just going to go F5 money line at plus 120. Let's talk about this next game and around the bases. Let's talk about the Padres and the Reds, and you aren't the only one that's feeling the pain of handicapping this one incorrectly, because I've got a unit on this game as well. Nick Lodolo taking on Matt Waldron. Yeah, I thought Nick Lodolo was a right-hander when I just, top of my head. Nick Lodolo is not the right-hander. It's Nick Martinez is the right-hander. Nick Lodolo is the left-hander. I guess we'll go through these stats, but boy, they weren't the stats I thought of when I made this bet. Because the Padres don't really hit, it's the Padres, Yeah, Padres versus left-handers. See, I'm just trying to force like hell Nick Lodolo to be a right-hander, but he's not. He's a left-hander. Padres don't hit left-handers worth shit. 91 plate appearances. They're well below the Mendoza line at 157, well below any slugging numbers you'd want to back at 229, a weighted runs created of 34. All of those numbers are absolutely disgusting as shit. It was looking good because the Reds don't hit right-handers. We've kind of talked about that. The reason why we like the under in that Reds versus Rangers series, Reds only hit 202. Not a lot of power at 315. Their weighted runs created also 76. They strike out an absolute ton at 31.1%. So both teams struggle. Man, if I could only... There's no point in me giving you the Padres versus right-handers numbers, but they look really stinking good. We'll just sit back and hope and pray. Nick Lodolo, decent pitcher. Matt Waldron coming off a nice start against the Rockies, going 6 innings strong. Yeah, we've really don't have the hitting advantages that I thought. I think starting pitching is about easy with the way Waldron and Lodolo are both pitching. I'll just say my apologies one more last time. I just effed up in terms of the handicapping and thinking which handedness Lodolo was. So we'll just pray. We do get the tie option. So we can get that to lean on. But yeah, my apologies on that one, boys. I messed that one up. So maybe we'll get a pitching change. Right? That burned us not too long ago in that Giants series against the Marlins. It was. Couldn't do anything about that. Maybe Lodolo will get an elbow injury and we can get a right-hander on the mound. Yeah, my bad, boys. 162 games. Got to laugh this shit off every now and then. So, all right, let's shut up now and let's do some pitching props. Fading the Phillies, or I should say the pitcher that's starting against the Phillies. Again, we went 5-0 last week. Put an asterisk on it. Kind of went 6-0 last week. We're going to go right back to the well here on Griffin Canning under 5.5 Ks. Minus 105. It's now minus 142. I don't know what the hell the books were doing. They didn't get their ass handed to them enough. They wanted to give us a basically an even money prop. Yeah, it's now correctly juiced to well in the minus 140s as it should. Just him alone, he stayed under in 4 of 5. And then again, he gets these Phillies bats. Not striking out, 17.2%, crushing right-handers, 292 average, 519 slugging, OPS of 873, and a weighted runs created of 140. It's the angle we talked about several times last week. You hit the ball really well, you bring a lot of power to the plate, and you also don't strike out. And he's also stayed under in 4 of 5. An absolutely no-brainer play. Griffin Canning of the Angels under 5.5 Ks. I mentioned Matt Waldron when we were talking about the Padres and the Reds and talked about how Waldron should strike out because those Reds are at 31.1%, which is most in baseball. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Matt Waldron over 4.5 Ks, minus 104. Let's see if that's the current price. Just curious. Let's see, Matt Waldron. Minus 104. He is now open. Minus 104, still over at Caesars. He's gone over in 3 of 5. I said you the Reds strike out the most at 31.1%. No real danger of them chasing him earlier. That's another thing of when I like to take over and strikeout props is obviously you have to strike out to a high percentage, and I like for 30% or more, and here they're at 31.1. But also your ability to not chase a pitcher earlier because your hitting stats are really weak. I also gives him a chance to pitch deep into this game and hit the over. Again, they only hit 202. No power at 315. OPS is weak at 623. Weighted runs created well below league average at 76. So should be able to pitch deep in this game. And in the process, with a high strikeout rate, I think he goes over 4.5 Ks at minus 104 over on Caesars. Let's talk long shots today. That's what we do in the 4th inning. There's always dogs in every game. But which dog can come through for you? Well, it was a dog this morning at plus 122. Those New York Yankees. Taylor was talking about them in the chat. There's a reason why he likes them. We'll obviously break them down. They're barely a dog now. I'm showing minus 102. I'm showing even money. So hopefully you can still get a good plus money price. We're locked in at plus 122. Got Schmidt on the mound versus Rodriguez. I get the better ERA, 3.55 versus 4.45. I don't quite get the better whip, but it's even at 1.46 versus 1.41. Opponent's batting average is also relatively equal, 284 versus 277. So basically the same pitcher on the mound. Where you get your differences and where you get the advantages that Taylor likes is in your hitting and bullpen. I hit 280, Orioles hit 211. On base, 355, Orioles 274. I slug 304, they slug 383. OPS, 859 versus 657. Both of them are doing a really good job of not striking out, 21.1 versus 20.8. Weighted runs created, Yankees 148, Orioles 91. So you can see the hitting advantages are there in spades for the New York Yankees versus right-handers. Bullpens, big advantages, 2.86 ERA versus 5.46. FIP, 2.95, 5.57 for the Orioles. WHIP, 1.18, 1.42. Opponent's batting average, 217 versus 245. Home runs per 9. Yankees, 0.26, keeping the ball in the ballpark. Orioles are not doing that at 1.82. Obviously, the Yankees thrive. That's what they signed. That's their strategy to hit homers. Well, the Orioles bullpen of 1.82, league worst right now. They're really coming through of allowing teams to give up the home run. So in an even starting pitching matchup, you get plenty of hitting advantages, plenty of bullpen advantage. Yankees are going to be your dog of the day at plus 122. Plus 122 for your dog of the day, New York Yankees. Fifth inning, keep swinging. Like to give you guys some hitting props every day. Andrew Benintendi, 6 for 14 up against Joe Ryan. 2 doubles, a triple, and a home run, and has not struck out in those 14 plate appearances. So you like that. And also, the White Sox, don't be scared. Coming around, sweeping the Rays. We talk about it here on the Payoff Pitch every year. Even the bad teams will either do something right, a la Tigers, kind of they hit left-handers, or even the bad teams will get hot at some point through 162 games, and it's going to be a good opportunity, to back those really bad teams and get a lot of value that the Squirrel likes to talk about. I'm not going to go there in terms of backing the White Sox because they're still, in the bottom 10 of some hitting stats, and certainly when you compare them to the Twins, they're really far off the pace of what the Twins are doing right now. But just keep an eye on the White Sox. I won't be scared to pull the trigger on them soon. But for now, and keep swinging, it's Andrew Benintendi is the one you want to target. Another one, Javi Baez there of the Tigers. He's 6 for 14 against Steven Matz with the home run off of Steven Matz. Tigers generally hit left-handers pretty well. Look for Javi Baez to do some damage down there in the bottom of the lineup. He's 6 for 14 up against Steven Matz. Sixth inning, it's a steal. I like to give you my Nerfy of the day. Nerfy of the day today, Pirates Athletics, minus 115. Each team has a pretty good high Nerfy percentage at 76 and 80%. Neither team is really hitting the ball right now. 171 and 203 are their respective batting averages versus the righties and lefties that are relevant in this starting pitching matchup, which is Joe Boyle there. He's given up runs in 2 of his 5 starts, and Bailey Falter has given up runs in 1 of his 5 starts, but has been clean in his last 4 as his runs came in the season opener. So he's settled down after the season opener to at least begin games. Pirates Athletics, Nerfy of the day, minus 115 is a really fair price for how much they're nerfing. And then the starting pitching there for Boyle, maybe a little weak, but boy, they're not hitting right-handers again at 203 batting average. So I think this Nerfy will come home. Pirates and Athletics at minus 115. Best bet, that's what you get here, and that's what you can expect in coming to a stretch. 7th inning, best bet of the day. What's your best bet of the day? Do let me know. I'm going to go ahead and target this matchup in Arizona, I believe it is. It's not in LA. I believe it's in Arizona. We got 2 left-handed starters on the mound. What? Did somebody say left-handed starter? Arizona Diamondbacks? I mean, that should just be music to your ears. As soon as I saw the starting pitching matchup, I knew I was like, okay, I'm kind of interested in the over, or is it just going to be Diamondbacks over? Well, then you look at what the Dodgers are doing right now versus left-handers in their own right. They don't strike out at 14.4%. You want to take Tommy Henry's under on his Ks? Slam it. They do not strike out at 14.4%. They're going to chase his ass early, or at least have a good chance, because they hit 292, slug 415, OPS 766, a weighted runs created of 117. The Dodgers alone could hit this goddamn over, but you definitely want the Diamondbacks to contribute. They also don't strike out versus left-handers. We know that, 20.8%. Great batting average at 340, second best. How about second best slugging at 546? How about just below league leaders in the Twins at OPS of 943, second best weighted runs created of 164. You probably already knew all those numbers because you know when we've been backing the Diamondbacks, it's been when they're left-handers, and then you'll gladly fade them when they go up against our right-hander. Tommy Henry's on the mound up against James Paxton. I don't fully know their pitching stats. For some reason, ESPN has lost all 2024 data for pitchers. It's really weird. Go to their website. You can find hitting stats for 2024, but you can't find pitching stats. I, of course, went to MLB.com to get it, but it's a little bit clunkier of a site. Just really want to target the two best, or a couple of the best teams versus left-handers. If you look at each team's runs scored through the first five, how about first and second in Major League Baseball? 3.63, 3.37. Again, versus left-handers, hell, the Diamondbacks could hit this on their own. It's over 5.5 at even money for runs scored through the first 5 innings. I love this. These two teams are smoking left-handers. No-brainer bet, best bet of the day. Dodgers, D-backs, first 5, over 5. If you want to know why I didn't just go full game, because you're probably sitting there thinking, that Diamondbacks bullpen, shit, he bags on that one a lot. All right, well, this is why you handicap last 10 days. Teams ebb and flow. Diamondbacks looking pretty decent, about league average right now, well up out of the basement where they've been sitting bottom 10, bottom 5. They're comfortably league average, and Diamondbacks are comfortably sitting top 10 for bullpen. So I just wanted to remove the bullpens and say all the really big advantages are versus left-handed pitching. So that's what we'll focus on, and we'll target the first 5 going over 5.5 at even money. All right, double play, 8th inning, parlay every single day. That's what you can go ahead and expect. This is a little bit of a head scratcher, and I want to pull up live odds for a second. All right, I've got live odds up. Minnesota Twins, team total through the first 5 innings is over 1.5. It was minus 160. That's why I had to make it a parlay. Now it's minus 140. If you don't want to make it a parlay, okay, don't do it. I hear you. But it was minus 160. I don't understand the line movement on this one. Twins have the number 1 batting average. They're doing everything best versus left-handers. Ooh, that's the wrong tab. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, they got the number 1 OPS, second best slugging, number 1 on base, number 1 batting average, 365. They're not striking out at 15.9%. Number 1 weighted runs created at 174, and they just absolutely crushed Garrett Crotchet. You're seeing this guy. Good starts to open it, but obviously with the tape that's gotten on him, everybody's catching up to his stuff. And you see that from time to time. That's why we like these starting pitchers, that when they're new, there's no familiarity, they can be successful. Well, there's been enough tape on him where everybody is now crushing him, including these Minnesota Twins 5 days ago. So expecting 2 runs with how great they are versus left-handers. Crotchet obviously has cooled off dramatically. I love the Twins F5 team total over 1.5, but it's gotten a little juicy, or at least it was when I made it. I had to parlay Griffin Canning to not be the winning pitcher. We've already talked about the Phillies and how great they are at hitting right-handers when we justified taking his under. And then you also look at the Angels, worst opponent's batting average, worst whip, worst ERA, and second worst FIP. Those are the bullpen stats right now for the Angels. So a chance for them, even if Griffin Canning has a good outing, for that bullpen to ruin anything Griffin Canning could have done earlier on in that game. So I love the Twins F5 team total over 1.5. Griffin Canning to not be the winning pitcher. That parlay, well, for sure it's plus money now. I tweeted at minus 104, but I'm going to get you a current price, because with that play now being down to minus 140, that's for sure a plus money play right now. Let me see. I don't get that Twins movement, but minus 135. It dropped again. It's plus 110. Grab it. I don't see what the concern is here. I have no concerns. So, sometimes lines be moving like that in that direction. All right, let's go ahead and throw all these bets up. How the hell am I betting this stuff? That's what we do in the closer, and then we'll do a little rapid fire. I'm going to go ahead and do that Nationals F5 money line, Padres F5 money line, and just hope and pray the gambling gods can spare some mercy on my soul for a little bit. Yankees money line. Damn near could be the best bet of the day, but it's definitely the best long shot of the day, I'll tell you that. Dodgers D-backs, that is going to go ahead and be the best bet of the day. F5 over 5.5. Mentioned the parlay of the day. That one makes the card. And Griffin Canning, Let's see if we can go 6-0 officially. We'll call it 6-0 officially for fading pitchers going up against the Phillies. What a ride last week that was. Let's go ahead and pull out some live odds, boys, and let's talk all these games because there are some games I didn't talk about yet, which gets me really excited, to be quite honest. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Anybody giving me a best bet in Champions League while we were hanging out? No. Nobody gave me a best bet in Champions League. All right. Fine. You're not gonna like my bet anyways in the Champions League, so just trying to just see what you had. We mentioned those New York Yankees no longer being at plus money. It's now minus 102. Taking on minus 118 Orioles with an over-under of 9. This is one of those, I know we talk about it, like sometimes you try and predict an over and under, or sometimes you try and predict who's going to win the game. I could give two shits about an over-under in this. The Yankees have all the advantages in hitting and bullpen. I want the New York Yankees plus 122. Give me a follow on Twitter if you want that plus 122 price. Cardinals and Tigers with an over-under of 8. Minus 120 or minus 112 for the Cardinals. Tigers minus 108. Tough one. I do like the under in this one more. Both teams coming into this game struggling. Tigers can't hit left-handers. Cardinals can't hit right-handers. Bullpens, we know how the Tigers stack up. Cardinals kind of remain well up into that top half. When we were talking about them last week, they've kind of stayed where they're at. So I'll take under 8. And then I'll go also Cardinals money line. Like if there's a pitcher that's going to let me down, it's got to be Kenta Maeda against the Cardinals bats. Steven Matz can piece it together. He's quality over Maeda. So I'll go Cardinals minus 112, under 8. Nationals and Marlins, over under of 8, plus 114 for the Nationals. Marlins come in at minus 135. I'll take the Nationals, and obviously we're locked in on through the first 5. See if we can't get into the good arms of that bullpen and get me a Nationals victory at plus 142. Royals and Blue Jays, plus 140 for the Royals. Blue Jays minus 166, over under of 8.5. I'll take the under 8.5. The struggles that both of these two teams have versus right-handers, bullpens both sit pretty nice in the top half. So under 8.5. If I had to predict a winner, like being forced to predict a winner, I would go Royals. Oh yeah, I would go Royals. Yeah. Royals. Both bullpens are sitting decent, but the Royals bullpen grades out a little better. So I would take a swing at the Royals plus 140, but really like the under 8.5 a lot more. Cubs and Mets with an over-under of 7.5. Cubs plus 130. Mets minus 155. Well, if this becomes a bullpen game, you can just sign the Cubs right out for a victory. It's this tab right here. Yeah, Mets bullpen. Number 1 opponent's batting average. Number 1 ERA. Number 2 ERA. My apologies, number 2 ERA. It's all really stinking good. Cubs bullpen, yeah, bottom 10 of the league, kind of struggling across the board. So I'll take the Mets to win the game. Hitting stats. This was a funny one, at least when we're talking versus right-handers. Not a lot of separation. So I kind of like the over 7.5. Even though I think the Cubs may not score late in this game with how good the Mets bullpen is, I think both starters can give it up to both of these offenses versus right-handers. The Mets better. So I like the Mets to win the game. They got the better bullpen, but I like the over 7.5. Mets minus 155. Twins and White Sox over under of 7.5. Twins minus 162. White Sox plus 136. Mentioned the White Sox being better. And then you add in the fact this is a repeat pitching matchup from 5 days ago. I'm expecting the Twins, number 1 team right now versus left-handers, to do what they did versus Garrett Crotchet. I like the over 7.5. Pretty easy play for me here, especially when you factor in the bullpen struggles of the White Sox, how the Twins bullpen regressed a little bit. Yeah, pretty easy 7.5 over for me. Wouldn't go for a winner in this one. Let's just go for an over 7.5. Rays and Brewers over under of 8. Rays minus 108. Brewers minus 112. You want to talk about close stats, boys? You want to talk about trying to predict a winner in this game? Tough one. How about batting averages? 256 versus 256. Obviously dead on even. How about weighted runs created? 114 versus 112. How about strikeout percentage? 23.5 versus 23.2. How How about slugging 418 versus 400? There's no separation from a hitting. I mean, no separation from a hitting. Where you start to get some separation is in this bullpen. And finally, the Rays bullpen. We talked about, was it 2 weeks ago? Like, those, even though they were struggling, teams will ebb and flow. Like, we knew the Rays would come out of there. Kevin Cash usually does really good at managing the bullpen. Yeah, he's got them sitting top 5 right now. Significantly better than the Brewers across the board on all 4 categories. So I like the Rays at minus 108. I like the Rays at minus 108. Yeah, I like the Rays at minus 108 in that game. Phillies and Angels, over-under of 9. Phillies minus 148, Angels plus 124. We just talked about Phillies great, league worst bullpen in the Angels. I think the Phillies at minus 148. And I bet even the over hits because the Phillies bullpen can always give up late runs too. While it's better than the Angels, it's just below league average. So I take the over 9, but I like the Phillies minus 148 more. Dodgers and Diamondbacks over under of 10, minus 130 for the Dodgers. Diamondbacks plus 110. I would just take the over. If I had to take a winner, yeah, I mean, the Dodgers bullpen is better. That's what puts me off of a full game over. It's gotten better. I just take the over 10, and I'm not trying to predict a winner or not. I just take the over 10. Reds and Padres over under of 8, minus 112 for the Reds, minus 108 for the Padres. I still think the Reds bullpen's pretty good. There's a reason I like that under in the Rangers series. I would go, this is obviously going to conflict with the play I've got on that left-hand side, but everybody knows I admitted a mistake on that one. I'll go Reds minus 112. Reds minus 112 on the money line. You could also talk me into an under 8. I'm fine with the under in there as well. Pirates and Athletics over under of 8. Pirates minus 125. Athletics plus 105. I like the Athletics. I mean, you give me the Athletics, especially up against a team like in the Pirates where the hitting stats, Pirates are better, but only slim. I'm always going to want this Athletics bullpen. Lights out is that bullpen. So Athletics plus 105, under 8 for me. Braves, Mariners, tough one here with an over-under of 7.5. Braves minus 142, Mariners plus 120. This is going to be a tough series. Probably won't bet it all 3 days because the hitting advantages aren't there for either team. The bullpen advantages are there for the Mariners for sure, but the Braves are decent in their own right. So tough-ass series. I mean, tough. The Mariners versus left-handers were struggling. Yeah, hitting 190 versus left-handers. I'll go, tough. This is a tough one. Braves have cooled off versus right-handers, 230. Below 100 for a weighted runs created. Tough. I'll go, I'll go under. Man, that's scary with both those teams, though. But that bullpen, I'm going Mariners plus 120. I mean, these bullpen advantages are pretty good, actually. ERA 1.38 versus 2.88. Opponent's batting average 211 versus 250. Mariners bullpen hasn't given up a home run in the last 10 days. Both of them strike out about the same. Mariners going to walk you a little bit more. It's a little scary. It's a tough series. I bet that one all 3 days. Those stats are nip and pretty tight, as they say. So, all right, that's how we'll go ahead and roll it. Looks like we've got 6 plays on the card. Be careful there with Padres F5 money line if you're joining the show late. I admitted an error in the handicapping on that one, thinking Lodolo was a right-hander when he's actually a left-hander. But every other play I absolutely love. Slam dunk plays as far as I'm concerned. So Nationals F5 money line, Padres F5 money line, Yankees full game money line, Dodgers D-backs F5 over, Twins will parlay their F5 over with the Canning to not be the winning pitcher, and then we'll take Canning as a single play under 5.5 Ks because why would you not play that angle? It looks so damn good, and it's stuffed our pocket, so we keep it rolling. All right, boys, anything else? Any best bets for you guys today, or any best bets in the Champions League? What do you guys got? I'm going to look at this. Let's see. Curious just what this under is. Remember this Dortmund? It was Dortmund, Milan, PSG, and Newcastle. That was the group stage. We were on that under. I don't know if we did every game, but we damn near did every game. Well, we did get 2 cashes in Dortmund versus PSG. It was a 2-0 game in Paris and a 1-1 game there at Dortmund. This is the game on Wednesday. I kind of like the under again. I kind of like the under, and you can get the under at plus 160. I'm going to see what Bet Rivers has give me for an under. But on DraftKings, it's plus 160. Everybody seems to be betting the over, so there's definitely no rush to go and buy this. Plus 160 over on Bet Rivers as well. I'm just going to wait because everybody seems to be betting the over. And then the other game, Bayern versus Real Madrid, you can get both teams score over 2.5, minus 115. I would imagine that hits. That tie and that leg, I would think probably has got some goals in it. You know, both of these clubs, with the way they are domestically in their title races, are able to, you know, do whatever they generally want on the weekend to, you know, really rest players and have people arrive in the best shape for this game. So I kind of I agree with the over in that game. But I kind of like the under in Dortmund PSG. It's that under treated us good in the group stage and treated us obviously good with these two, you know, teams and these two ties. So I guess we'll just monitor those lines and kind of see where they arrive at tomorrow. But yeah, I kind of like the over and I kind of like the under as well. So that's how we'll do it. All right, boys. Enjoy your day. Let's lock in here. Let's go 6-0. 6-0, boys. Kick off our week in style. See if we can't keep the hot streak going. So, any best bets, boys? Any other questions? Hang for one more minute. Any other questions on today's MLB slate? Any other questions, boys? One more minute. What do you got? Any best bets? Anything? I did do, here, let's jump on in here. I did put up I'll just put up the free roll that I'll tweet here in a second. Well, I've already tweeted it, but. Put that up and then we'll bounce. There it is. I am going to do in the free roll Nicola Dolo, the over 4.5 Ks we talk about, or not Nicola Dolo, man. Matt Waldron, other pitcher in that game. And then the Nerfy there in Pirates Athletics. Use up some arbitrage cash. And obviously that means I've got a single unit play on Matt Waldron, and I've got a single unit play on that Nerfy because you guys know that's how I roll with these arbitrage plays. So, all right, boys, good luck. See you back here tomorrow. Let's ring the cash register to kick off the show. Break down Tuesday's slate. Have a good one, boys.